Now things get interesting, you know? The first two episodes did not give me healing drama vibes. There was no healing in those first two episodes. Good morning, good evening, and good day. I'm Francine, and I really love K-dramas. You're listening to Dramabuds, a Globe Studios podcast. So hello everyone. Welcome back to Dramabuds Season 2. Once again, we are doing a first impressions episode where I watch the first 1/4 to 1/3 of a show and I talk about what I think of it so far and if I plan on continuing it. So our K-drama for today is You Are My Spring, which was written by Lee Mina, who I don't know, and directed by Jung Ji-yoon, the co-director of Mr. Sunshine and The King Eternal Monarch. And I also think they're the head lead director of Search WWW. It stars Seo Hyun Jin, Kim Dong-wook, Yoon Park, and Nam Kyuri. It's described as a healing drama, whatever that means. And according to Asian Wiki, it's described as a show about people with a childish state of mind now live as adults. They happen to live in a building where a murder takes place. Which begs the question, where is the healing drama? Okay. Without going into what I'm going to talk about for the rest of the episode, it's been a while since I've been this excited for a show to come out, and then I ended up becoming even more excited as the episodes were released instead of, getting disappointed in it for one reason or another. Minor spoilers for the first 4 episodes, I think. I don't think I'll be spoiling anything major here, but we'll see. So what were my expectations for this show? Like, why did I even tune in? Well, first of all, I love Seo Hyun Jin so much. Like, if you have not listened to my favorite K-drama actors and actresses episode, go listen to it. I gush about her acting. I love her so much. I first watched her in Dr. Romantic 1. Like, that was my first time ever encountering her. And like, from the moment I saw her, I knew, wow, I like how this girl acts. She's so natural, It's like she is this character. There's no stiffness whatsoever. And then I watched her in another Oheyong, which was not a great project in my eyes. I did not enjoy that show. But she won the Best Actress Award in the Baeksang Arts Awards for it. So I have to respect it, She got her well-deserved Best Actress Award there. I have to acknowledge it. And then I also watched Black Dog, which I reviewed on the podcast many episodes ago. Wasn't the best work, wasn't that bad either, but she was still great in it. It seems to be a pattern. She just seems to be good in whatever roles she's taking. Even if they're not in very great projects as a whole. She's my rom-com queen. I think she knows that she's a rom-com queen. Like, I think a reporter already asked her recently, like, what do you feel about that title or something? I forgot what her answer was, but she is a rom-com queen, okay? She makes chemistry with her co-stars. I have not seen a work of hers where, I didn't believe that her character, Fine, was really in love with whoever she was paired up with. Like, fine, I'll let you have this happy ending because you seem to like him so much and I love you, girl, so you go be happy. She's also my queen of crying in 4,000 different ways. Like, in one episode of another Oheyong, I swear, she cried like 4 times in one episode. And they were all different. It wasn't the same cry every single time. I don't know how she does it. And I was just so excited to see her again. It's been over a year since her last project. So yeah, as for Kim Dong-wook, the male lead here, I haven't watched a lot of him, but I like him. I get good vibes from his acting based on like the 2 episodes of Find Me in Your Memory that I watched. Like I thought he was okay. My sister said he was good. Anchor Nim was the best in Find Me in Your Memory. So okay, I'll trust her on that. Uh I watched him in Along with the Gods, the movies. I didn't know it was him. Okay, like now, looking back at it, looking at that cast, Ha Jung-woo, Chu Ji-hoon, Hyang Gi, Do Kyung-soo, Cha Tae-yoon was there, Lee Jun-hyuk was there, Kim Dong-wook was there. Like, all those people. I know all of them. I feel like I should rewatch those 2 movies and like appreciate it more that I know everyone in the main cast at least. But yeah, when I first watched Along with the Gods, I did not know who Kim Dong-wook was. So just he was the main guy in the second movie. He was the paragon there. So okay. I'm definitely gonna rewatch those movies just for fun, just to see all of those people together. Although I really didn't have much of an idea about how he was going to be, I trusted that Seo Hyun Jin would make this chemistry happen. I trusted in her chemistry making abilities. And I was excited to see them together. So, You Are My Spring is described as a healing drama, which intrigued me because what does that even mean? What does healing even mean? So, whatever that meant, I wanted to see it. And I was also interested because Kim Dong-wook's character was described as a psychiatrist, which is personally interesting to me. I'd love to see how they approach that, however which way they did. And then when I saw the teasers of the show, immediately, they were so cute. Oh, I already saw the chemistry. I was so excited for it. And it helps that I like them both as actors, really. So when I watched the pilot, immediately, the vibe was very dark. Once again, where is the healing drama? But okay. And the directing was so unique. Listen, I don't know anything about directing, so don't take any of my words as if I know anything. But like it just something about the aspect ratio. Like in the present day scenes, it's like normal. A normal conventional aspect ratio for TV. But then when it was a flashback, like the window became narrower, like we saw less. That intrigued me so much. Like seriously, just seeing the aspect ratio change was so like jarring to me. It's like, whoa, I've never seen a K-drama like this before. And you know how usually most shows everywhere, movies anywhere, if it's a flashback, they just like slap on a filter, change the color grading, make it sepia or something. But yeah, that's simple enough. Like when people see that, they get that, okay, it's a flashback. But this is pretty unique way of introducing a flashback visually to the viewers. So I wonder if that has any symbolism. Knowing that this director is like an assistant of Lee Ong-bok, the director of Goblin, Mr. Sunshine, like knowing that they've worked together, and I'm sure as an assistant director, they've picked up some of their lead directors' tricks. I'm curious to know if that means something. That usually means something. Or maybe it's just like an interesting visual choice, directing choice, and I'm overthinking as always. But yeah. Also about the directing, I don't know if it's also in the writing or if this is their choice to do it this way, but it's very understated. And I'll try my best to explain this. But okay, imagine like in a usual K-drama, rom-com or not, when the 2 leads meet for the first time. Slow-mo, There are close-up shots of them staring at each other, meeting each other's eyes. There's an OST in the background or some sparkly sounds, whatever. Just something to signify that this is special. This is a special moment that we have to pay attention to because these are special characters. But in here, when Seo Hyun Jin and Kim Dong-wook first met, there were no close-ups of them looking at each other. No sparkly background music, OST, whatever. They just like, hi, hello, shook hands, introduced themselves to each other, and sat down. Just like that. Like nothing. I don't know why that's so fascinating to me. It's just, you have, of course, these expectations of how K-dramas go, right? And then, when it's like that, they're completely not what I expected. It's like, okay, alright, they met. Because you know what, yeah, in real life, we don't get slow-mo shots of like, whoa, a person who is pretty attractive. Whoa there. Like, you know, that doesn't happen unless it's love at first sight or something. Who knows? But yeah, like that was really interesting for me. It felt just like two supporting characters meeting and talking. And not two main leads who are eventually going to fall in love or deal with circumstances together or whatever like that. Is the bar this low? Am I this surprised by such little details like that? But okay, moving on. The writing, it was snappy at times. They had a few back and forth argument moments, but they also used silence a lot in this show, which is very good. That's a good sign for me that it's not just all about getting the words out, but it's also about letting them, sit, letting the moment settle. So that's nice. Characters wise, you know how when you meet a character in a pilot, immediately you have kind of an idea of who they are, how they're going to be, how you classify them into whatever tropes you're thinking of. Characters wise, they didn't immediately fall under any cliche descriptions I could think of. And I wouldn't call them quirky or whatever, but I also wouldn't call them like, yeah, your typical, typical Seo Hyun Jin character who's a bit of a mess, she's a bit of a klutz, but she's charming and she's spunky and she's bright and she'll fight back for herself or something. No, I wouldn't describe her as that. She seems a lot more chill than Seo Hyun Jin's other characters. Kang Dajong, her character, she doesn't come off as like the deeply traumatized, broken damsel in distress type either. Even if we are already introduced to her sad backstory, childhood backstory. Like, you know what? When she grew up as an adult, she seemed pretty okay. I wouldn't immediately lump her as like typical weak damsel in distress. Okay. And then for Ju Yong-do, Kim Dong-wook's character, he doesn't come off as like, ultra macho, hyper masculine, I'm gonna save her from all the danger in the world type of main lead. So that's nice. Like, he seems like a pretty sensitive guy. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, as you can see, they seem like normal people. They seem like normal people trying to live their lives. Because like the setup in itself is not that unique. They just live in the same building. They don't have to be like, oh, he's a charming prince who is very intelligent and extremely harsh to his servants and all that, and she is a tough cop who is very vigilant because she believes in justice and all that. No, they're just like, she's a hotel manager, concierge, and he's a psychiatrist. It's all good. They're just people. I like that setup though, of them just being neighbors and eating together with their landlords on the rooftop. Like, I think it could develop into like a growing community type of friendship where even their neighbors get involved in each other's lives, which I find cute. I find that cute, honestly. So for the succeeding episodes, now things get interesting, you know? The first two episodes did not give me healing drama vibes. There was no healing in those first two episodes. So they introduced the second lead guy, right? And I'm glad it didn't go into the typical, love triangle direction, but I did not expect the direction it actually went to. Not at all. It seems a lot like When the Camellia Blooms. This show seems to be doing something similar to what Camellia did. Like, it's packaged as a rom-com, but then when you actually watch it, it's like, whoa, there's a thriller here. Except, Camellia was a lot warmer and lighter. Like for the first half, more than even, it was a lot about meeting the community, seeing what Dongbek was going through, seeing her finally settle down a bit and meeting Yongshik and then having someone defend her and then their blossoming romance and all that. And just, it was a lot of that for the first half. And then the thriller was kind of just slowly, bit by bit, introduced until it really kicked in. But that was towards the end, really. After something huge happened, that's when the show became, or when the thriller aspect, the mystery thriller aspect of Camellia, that's when they really focused on it. But for the most part, I could say it was a really warm, light show. You Are My Spring, however, goes a lot darker. So far, at least. Like, the mystery seems a lot more central to the plot. Unlike Camellia, where it only picked up towards the end-ish. So we'll see how they're able to maintain that as the show goes on. But I think that's what's kept me interested until now. I mean, I've watched 4 episodes and I'm still as engaged as I was in the very first episode. Like, it's an example of something not even not meeting my expectations, but just being completely different from what I expected. Like, I thought I was going in for a light rom-com, another Oh Hae-young type, where I could see them being cute and dumb, and then there's some melodramatic moments, but in general, you could say this goes comedic, this goes rom-com. And I was prepared, honestly, for it to be bad. Like, I was telling myself, it might just be another Oh Hae-young, right? Another Miss O. And if it's bad, it's bad. Whatever. I expected it to be bad. I expected it to be cliche and cheesy and just annoying. So, whatever. And then it was not at all that. Somehow it's better. Like, way, way, way better than what I thought it would be. It's really blending mystery and romance well. And I'm interested in both aspects of the show, not just one or the other. Like, I'm in it for the mystery, the romance is blah, or I love the romance, the mystery is such a drag. Like, no, both sides are pretty strong as of now. It has some cute moments, right, between the main leads, but there's also a mystery that's still keeping me on my toes, and I still don't know where it's going, but I'm very interested based on what we've been served so far. And when I say that this show is cute, I mean that it's cute. When it's cute, it's cute. Once again, it really helps that I like both of these actors. Like, I'm sure others would call the romance like slow and boring and only care about the mystery because that seems more engaging. Because, the leads aren't jumping at each other immediately with all their chemistry and flirting and all that. Some would call this slow. But I would call this a slow burn, which is different. And it's also something that I love so, so, so much. Like, they're actually really awkward. These two leads, they're so awkward and it's so funny, right? When they become slightly more comfortable, though, it feels even more rewarding because it's just like, oh, a while ago you guys were so awkward around each other, and now, oh, you're sharing things. You're being nice. That's so cute. It's not the type of romance where, they're actively seeking to be around each other. And like, typical me would be like, my God, you're so stupid. Like, just live your life. If you're gonna see the guy, you're gonna see the guy. Like, stop trying to force it. But it's not like that here. And that's why I'm not annoyed. Like, it just so happens that conveniently, they live in the same building. Conveniently, they're dragged into situations where they are the only ones who can be there for each other. And that's why they have to stick together sometimes. It's not them doing stupid things. Let's just call it stupid things, like irrational things. It's not them doing ridiculous things just to get each other's attention. It just so happens, okay, that they are conveniently there for each other. I'll take that. I like that. I think it also really helps that the directing in their moments, quote unquote, it's so subtle. It's very understated, as I said earlier. Like in episode 3, okay, imagine this. They were walking along the beach, Chu Young-do, Kang Dajong, and her mother. And then Dajong's mom like pushed Young-do to the waves in the water, right? And then Dajong like tried to help him up. And in other dramas, they would be like squealing and screaming and splashing water at each other accidentally. And then there would be slow-mo and you could see the droplets, glimmering in the air. You know what I mean? Like, very cheesy moment, right? This is a perfect moment to pull out the cheesy cliche stuff. And we wouldn't bat an eye because it's just like, as expected, there is water, they will splash at each other and laugh and giggle. And then when they're done, they'll be smiling at each other and breathing heavily. And it's just like, I shared a moment with you. Very cliche. I would not even notice it if it happened. But in here, it was literally both of them awkwardly trying to get up because they were getting hit by the waves. The waves kept coming and they couldn't get up because the sand was too soft. And then when they helped the other person up, they ended up falling, and then the other person would fall. And then their clothes were soaked and covered in sand. And it was so awkward and funny because it was awkward. It wasn't romantic at all. Like, the awkwardness and the funniness became cute. And so instead of being like cliche rom-com moment, it became genuinely a cute moment between these two. I like it. I really like it. And then as they became closer, that's when I started seeing the healing drama aspects. Like, as a psychiatrist, Ju Young-do is filled with all the words of wisdom that you could ever need. And at first, it was a negative character trait because he was always like psychoanalyzing Dajong and making her feel too vulnerable, too exposed, too seen. But as they opened up to each other, and it wasn't him like psychoanalyzing her for fun because his friend asked, he was able to turn his wisdom, his words, into comfort, into things that, didn't just make her feel vulnerable and seen. It made her feel heard, made her feel understood, right? See, being vulnerable is okay. It's not always a bad thing. Like, it's nice to be seen and understood. And it's also nice to be empathic, to listen to others and all that, and to try to understand them and feel for them. But there's a right place and a right time for those words. And like, it's nice seeing the growth of their relationship in that way. At times, I could say that this show, though, reminds me of Run On. And if you did not know, I was not a big fan of Run On. I have an episode on it, of my many qualms with it. I think the main problem I had with it was the dialogue. So snappy, they were saying too much. And okay, back to the show. Sometimes they're a little too clever, they're a little too fast. They think too fast. They speak too fast. And what they're saying seems to be so clever, so witty that, like, do normal people speak like this? Do normal people have conversations like this in a show that isn't trying to make their characters quirky, right? Or the setup isn't, well, the initial setup, not after the events, but the initial setup is that these seem to be pretty normal people who have just gone through some not so great things in life. Like, once again, this is not a story about a prince and a cop, or someone who time traveled, or someone who was reincarnated but remembers all their past lives, or someone who's immortal. Like, no fantasy thing or nothing special about these characters. Why are they talking as if they're so unique, so smart, so quirky? But whenever I get that feeling in a scene, immediately after, it's followed by silence. A very silent scene or silent beat, silent moment. And that comforts me. Just hearing the silence comforts me. Because the writer or the director, I don't know, it seems like they know how to use that silence to emphasize the awkwardness of their relationship. Like, they know how to use silence to let those moments simmer, settle. Alright? That's all I wanted from Run On. For more silences. Not just like internally, but also with these characters in a conversation. Just to let the conversation settle. Because people spend a lot of time in awkward silences with each other, okay? Anyway, the writer and director, they know how to use silence to emphasize the awkwardness of these two with each other. And then they even outright addressed, even talked about how, like, filling silence with conversation is like a defense mechanism. People do it a lot, even if they don't necessarily have to say anything. So, yeah. Like, instead of being an awkward silence, though, as their relationship becomes closer, as they open up to each other more, it becomes a comfortable silence. And I really appreciate that. I could feel that between them because they're not trying to fill it with conversation anymore. That's nice. I find that cute. Talking about silence, though, there's a slight nitpick of mine. It's very quiet. It's a very quiet K-drama. Like, I don't hear a lot of OSTs in the background that, like, stick in my head. No songs that I could pick out and remember and look for on Spotify or something. This is definitely a personal preference of mine. I love a good OST. It's something that is just personal to me. It could make a show better when it's not even that good. And you know what? The perfect example of that is really Another Oheo. I swear, that show was so difficult to get through, to finish. But I love so many songs from that OST. And, like, even if I had to listen to Just Like a Dream by Ben at most 3 times in one episode of Another Oheo, I did not get sick of that song. I still have it on my playlist, okay? Good songs can, like, elevate an experience, I swear. I would like to shine a spotlight on Seo Hyun Jin. just for being herself, for being so good, as I expected of her. She's so good at like slowly changing her expression, in the subtlest ways. Like there's this shot at the end of episode 3. It's a prolonged close up. Like I swear over a minute of just her face slowly morphing from like, a typical customer service hotel concierge smile, very plain, very simple. And then like when she saw something that shocked her, like the so slow transformation of that smile into fear or horror or no, not surprise, fear, definitely fear and shock. Like I swear I could watch that scene over and over again and just see it slowly morphing from the more or less genuine customer service smile to like just holding your face in that position, and then the eyes start to waver and then the smile just drops. Like I don't know if it's slow-mo or if it's her acting. I think it's her acting because she's done that also before in less prolonged close-ups. So I trust that Seo Hyun Jin delivered on that, and she is so good. She can also tear up in like 2 seconds max. I swear, Seo Hyun Jin, queen of crying. I thought I saw all the ways she could possibly cry in another Miss O. But apparently, there are more ways. There's more. You can get more out of her. Amazing. My girl, Seo Hyun Jin. I'm actually so mad that I'm watching this as it's ongoing because I just want to know what happens next. Like, I'm so excited for the mystery, for how things will turn out. Like, it could go completely off the rails, like Awaken. And maybe there are mutants in this show too. Who knows? Or it could go with a simpler quote unquote twist, like Flower of Evil. Simpler in a way, but the impact of it, wow. Like I did not expect that Baek Hee-sung would be, what he was in Flower of Evil. Just saying. But yeah, it doesn't have to go so far. It just has to be like a decent twist using characters that or aspects of them that you didn't expect. It could go that way, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm betting on Joo Young-do being a psychopath somehow. Look, there are hints. No, I'm kidding. But if I'm right, I'll say that I called it. Okay, if Joo Young-do was somehow a psychopath, somehow Seo Hyun Jin is the only non-psychopath in this cast, I would not be surprised. Maybe they're all psychopaths. Who knows? It could go that way. I'm very much looking forward to how their romance develops because they're so cute. They're so cute, guys. And I can already see them falling for each other. Like, it's pretty direct that they're falling here. But a part of me is like, is this not going too fast? But then I also think like seeing all their interactions with each other and seeing what they've been through together, it's actually going much slower than I expected. Like, I think maybe the feelings will be there, but the action will not. We'll see. I won't make any predictions, okay? I don't know anything. And, notice how I'm excited for all aspects of the show. Instead of only caring about the plot and not the romance or the other way around. Notice how that's happening here. I'm very happy with how it's going so far. Like, I'm happy that I didn't expect too much and even intentionally lowered my expectations significantly. And then I ended up being pleasantly surprised. So that's it for me today. This experience so far. this taught me the importance of lowering my expectations or not expecting anything at all. Like, I was a little afraid because I watched almost all the teasers and I had this idea of how the show should be in my head before it even came out, right? And I also really like the actors, so I wanted it to be good, like so badly. And although it's nice to anticipate things, it's nice to be excited for things, right? But that's what causes us to be disappointed. And sometimes I ask myself, like, is this show actually bad? Like, in my opinion, it's bad. Or was it just not what I expected? Like, is that in terms of the quality I expected? Or like what it actually was, what it became? Genre or tone wise? Did I not expect that it would go this way or be more serious or be darker or be more goofy and you have to suspend your disbelief more often, right? Did I just not expect that? Maybe I thought it would take itself more seriously and be more like tightly written, but instead it was meant to be more of a wild ride that's supposedly enjoyable and moving at the cost of logical lapses. Because it's true, not every show is meant to be a tightly written masterpiece. But also, some of them are meant to be that way, but they fall short of that. But also, going even deeper into this, like, even defining the experience a show is trying to give is up to my interpretation. Like, the fact that I'm saying this show was meant to do this, but it failed to do so, who decided what it was meant to do? I interpreted that, right? I was the one who said that it wanted to be like this, but it did not become that way. Like, most shows don't straight up say like, okay, we're trying to be a very cool, badass, thrilling action show in their synopsis. Like, they don't go outright like, this is what we are. I mean, some of them do, but they tend to describe what's going to happen, like the synopsis, but the vibe they're going for or the way they're going to approach it or write it, they don't outright announce that, right? But I'm the one who's interpreting it as what it's attempting to do. Even if it's just trying to be like a simple, less dark, more satisfying in its shenanigans, like more gratifying, maybe? Is that the word? If you haven't guessed it yet, I'm actually talking about Vincenzo. When have I talked about this show? In my Q2 recap, what I felt about it. Like, maybe it achieved what it was trying to achieve. And I just didn't see that because it seems like a lot of people enjoyed the show. And not just in like the K-drama Twitter sphere, okay? Like, a lot of people seem to have enjoyed Vincenzo. And I was the only one that said, it's lame, it's cheesy, it's cartoony. But, like, what if that's what it was really meant to do? And I was the one who said, you shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't want to be that way. But others were like, okay, it's a bit cartoony. The villains are a little bit one-dimensional. They seem to be going through a lot more shenanigans than absolutely necessary. But it's okay. We want to see it. This is just me reevaluating my standards, really. And trying to think if I'm asking for too much from the shows I'm watching. Like, it's just K-drama, dude. Chill. Or am I telling myself to like turn my brain off? When it wants to be on. My brain wants to think. It wants to analyze. Because, like, I can't possibly enjoy everything I see. Right? There's a decent amount of, like, lens expectation management. And then there's just, turning your brain off and being a fan of everything that's out there. Because, Because the positivity police say that you can't give constructive criticism on things. I don't know. I'm just thinking about that a lot. It's hard to strike a balance, but you know what? Even if I am overthinking things, at least I'm aware. At least I know that I'm leaning on the side of overthinking already. But yeah, that's it for me today. Sorry for that whole tangent. You Are My Spring. So far, based on the first 4 episodes, it's good. I like it. I'm gonna keep watching it. Not out of loyalty to Seo Hyun Jin and Kim Dong-wook, but just because I'm genuinely interested in it. And that's exciting for me. It's been a while. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. I'm looking forward to what you guys thought of You Are My Spring so far. Are you going to continue watching it, or were you convinced to now pick it up? Because, I say it's good. Trust me, I like it so far. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you soon. Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to leave a comment, like, subscribe, follow, and tell me what you thought about today's episode. See you soon!